We're asking travelers tonight what they think of the new rules. Are they enough to relieve some of the stress of traveling? And we're breaking it down to the main issues the government is addressing. The first being delays, something almost every regular traveler will have experienced at some point.
Rough start to the honeymoon.
Yeah. Oh, it was your honeymoon?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Not the best way to start a honeymoon in Bali. Mallory Yurkovich and Jordan Colbert were stuck on a tarmac for hours with no end in sight and no clear reason why.
I'm really frustrated. It was really tough, and then we actually missed our connecting flight to Bali, so we had to stay in Qatar for like 8 hours, I think, and just wait it out.
A story echoed by so many passengers who fly frequently. Tonight, the couple is relieved to hear the government's new rules would at least guarantee food, drinks, and some compensation to passengers of delayed and canceled flights. What is your reaction hearing that the government is cracking down on this?
I mean, the fact that they're doing anything is a nice change, so I don't know.
Absolutely. When we were waiting, $1,000 would have been nice.
Yeah.
And some food and drink.
Obviously, during the holidays, flights can also get really busy, and we've heard the stories of passengers being denied boarding because of flights being overbooked. The Government of Canada now also introducing new rules to protect passengers against that.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
This may be the most memorable and shocking example of an overbooking gone bad. A man physically dragged off a United Airlines flight in Chicago. The incident caught on camera, sparking outrage. While not everyone's stories are this extreme, Canadians are thankful there are now safeguards in place to compensate passengers up to $2,400 on overbooked flights.
I mean, I'm paying lots of money to travel, and especially as a student, and as an international student, I have to go back and forth, travel back to Europe and come back to Canada, and it's very, very annoying when you don't get the service that you expect to get when you're paying lots of money.
And how about this problem? Everyone's worst fear: losing your baggage. Those precious valuables you hope and pray will make it to your destination, and that sinking feeling when you don't see it on the conveyor belt.
They didn't say exactly where my bags had got to, but it took them about 3 or 4 days and sort of like that. Luckily, I was staying with friends.
Friends and family came to Tim Purcell's help, but not everyone has that luxury. Lost baggage could not only ruin a trip, but also put a dent in a travel budget. The government enforcing up to $2,100 in compensation for lost or damaged baggage.
No one wants to lose their bags, let alone all your stuff in there. When you've been going away for a week or two, you pack a lot, don't you? Yeah. So it was just more of a frustrating situation than anything else, yeah.
All of these new rules are subject to public input, so if you have any feedback or any concerns that weren't addressed by the government, you can make your voice heard up until February 20th, 2019.
I believe it is the best passenger rights bill in the world.
But not everyone thinks so. Tonight, not only are advocacy groups sounding the alarm about the federal government's new Air Passenger Bill of Rights, so are some passengers who have been stuck in horrific situations with no one to hold to account.
The problem is with these new rules, sure, you're adding to a discussion which is very important, but airlines will always have it within their discretion to say, well, it was airport operations issue, or it was an emergency maintenance issue.
For Pamela Machado and nearly 300 others, a flight back from Costa Rica turned into a 2-day odyssey back in 2017 after a head count issue left them stuck on the tarmac for 10 hours. Machado says they were offered only snacks and only allowed off the plane after 5 hours. Under the new legislation, airlines would be forced to provide passengers with food, drinks, and accommodation when flights are delayed. A compensation of up to $1,000 for delays and cancellations within an airline's control that are not safety-related, and a requirement that passengers be allowed to leave the plane if a tarmac delay lasts for more than 3 hours. Machado says the rules are vague and there are far too many loopholes.
I think we're just giving them a window and allowing them to walk through the door that says we're just going to start lying to people as to what the reasons for the cancellations are, so we can fit them in these tight little categories that the minister is still allowing them to justify no compensation.
The new bill also forcing compensation up to $2,400 for passengers denied boarding because an airline has overbooked a flight, as well as compensation for lost or damaged baggage. There's also a rule that would force airlines to clarify policies around musical instruments. CityNews spoke with a musician this summer who was almost denied boarding because he didn't check his valuable guitar.
She's like, excuse me, sir, you're going to have to pay for your guitar or we're going to have to take you off the flight. At that moment, I'm like, why would you have to take off the flight? I don't understand. Like, you ran out of gate check tags. Can't you just go to another desk, ask them for a gate check tag, put on my guitar, and then put my guitar underneath? It's in your policy to gate check the guitar. I don't know that anybody would expect that to happen. Like, you don't go on a flight thinking I'm going to get kicked off my flight. Nobody thinks that.
A problem passengers are hoping disappears with this new bill.